the tourism industry. Now, visitors' behavior could be a detrimental effect. Okay, so you don't know how they behave towards your staff, towards your employees. Sometimes they treat you just like a normal kind of employee, but whereas you are that is your country, still they are treating you as just a normal employee. So the visitors' way of behaving with the staff would be horrible. Now, infringe on human rights could happen. Okay, it is not only with if you could see, they don't tend to see whether they are in your beaches or things like that. So more number of other country people are also coming, there is some sort of illegal things happening in our country too, right? So a kind of human rights violation is also happening. If you talk about tourism forces, okay, day by day, as and when the things are coming up, that is, if you say more number of development is happening in the country, okay, these more number of lakes, more number of trees has been cut down. So every day there is a defect or degradation happening in the tourism. You can watch these videos which I've put up there. Okay, it is totally based on what do you say, tourism. So it is just an that slide majorly included all of your tourism places, if you could say. Okay, more number of tourism places which is there in that. Now, if you quickly move on, I showed you evolution, right? Evolution of just let's take up the next slide. Okay. So evolution we have completed. Next, we are going to the transportation. Okay. So we all know transportation plays a major part in travel industry, right? So we do have various type of transportation in travel industry. So how does this could come? So first and foremost, what is the major thing? So transportation plays a vital role in in tourism industry. Okay, so adequate and efficient transportation is needed for a person to travel from one place to another. Now, this because of transportation, we have an access for the generating market. Like if it's a business, or if it's a leisure travel, if it's a medical travel, if it's an ecotourism, any such kind of thing, there is an access for generating this particular market. And now, the geographical distribution, world travelers and domestic travelers are increased up more and more. Okay. So what was the changes which happened in the transportation industry? So first and foremost, the changes which came up was in ancient times, if you could see, there were horses. Okay, horse carriages, hand-driven carriages, and boat. These were the four kind of things which were there in the ancient times. If you talk about the modern times, it's terribly developed. So you have motor cars, railways, buses, airways, private automobiles. So all these kinds of things, okay, came up into India. Now, there were many transportational facilities later on which changed according to that, and technological development also put up into that, like your aviation industry. Okay, day by day we are planning to reduce the distance traveled. Okay, we are planning to reduce the time taken for it. So day by day, due to technological developments, more number of options are coming up. Now, landmarks in transport sectors is like I already told you, these are some of the people who bought up, major kind of things. So you need to be remembering just one thing. Thomas Cook was the founder of this transportation. Okay, so he was the first one who took a mass number of people. Okay, 570 people who were taken to the Leicester, England. Okay. So this is some people who travel. Now, airlines, we all know since this was your last two topic, you always know that Wright brothers was the one who brought this into action. Okay, so as and foremost, the airborne hours was approximately 1.5 hours. Okay, then the Wright brothers got into contact with the US military and built up a military plane for them. So this is just a development. So it was KLM Flight. It was KLM Flight which flew in May 1920. Okay, so that one you need to be remembering, as in which was the flight. And if you say there were five oldest flights, okay, five oldest airline. If you could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sixth point, I have mentioned it. The five oldest airlines that still exist. Okay, till now these aircrafts are flying. So it is Netherlands, which is KLM. Okay, you have Colombia Aviation. You have Australian Qantas. Okay, Qantas is still flying. Czech Republic is there, and Mexicana Airlines is also there. So these are the five airlines, okay, which was there, which was started at the time of the very beginning time, but still now these are flying. Okay, now the type of airlines, you have type of airlines versus trunk carriers, regional carriers, commuter airlines, chartered airlines. So I will tell you what is trunk airlines is. Trunk airlines is those number of airlines which would be traveling to long distances. Let's say from a country to another country, or let's say from a nation to another nation. Okay. Now regional carriers is served to large areas, which is certain part of the country. So it is traveling now. If you say about Qantas flies only in Australia, from Australia to certain regions. Okay, it doesn't come into India. Qantas is not flying into India. So only certain parts, certain regions of the country it has been flying. So that particular thing is called as regional areas. Commuter airlines is smaller communities. Okay, it is only serving your economically, that is your domestic airlines flying inside your country. Now, chartered airlines is those airlines, it's a scheduled flights. Okay, therefore only big buses. Okay, if you see, it is either scheduled by a company, or let's say either scheduled by a person. So these are the type of airlines. Now, regulations, I have already explained you this. This comes the conventions, your Warsaw Conventions, your special drawing rights, all this comes under the convention. So, Chicago Convention. So, why I'm just running this out? Because I've already explained it. I don't want to re-explain it. It's the same flight, whatever I have put into that. So, your tourism and aviation is interconnected. So, that is the reason this topic has come into that. Now, Bermuda Convention, we all know this is a terrible word, Bermuda. Okay, because we have more number of airlines being lost on the Bermuda Triangle. If you have seen the movie, okay, Bermuda Triangle, it is a little bit scary kind of place, because till now they are not able to find out any such force, okay, what is attracting the airline into the sea. Okay, so government of USA, government of UK, and Great Britain of Northern Ireland. So these were the three countries which came together to speak on this Bermuda. Okay, in the Bermuda Convention, this consists of the purpose of promoting the direct air communication as soon as possible between the respective territories. So this was where they wanted, they were not ready to talk about any policies. The major thing which they wanted was they wanted a direct flight traveling from UK to US, or let's say from Northern Ireland to US. So this is where they came up together, and 14 articles are there in this agreement. Okay, now don't go deeply into the agreement. It just wipes up your head because it's horrible. Now, ICAO, then later on in the Chicago Convention, ICAO came up. I told you what were the functions of ICAO. That is what mentioned in that. Now, what is bilateral agreement? Bilateral agreement is an agreement between one country and another country. That is, if India is talking to USA that, I want to fly to your country, right? So we should have some agreement between us. That is, I can take so and so route for my flight. Okay, you will be taking care of these things, I would be taking care of these things. So it is where bilateral agreement is an agreement which is given by the both countries. So if you see 9 freedoms of air, I already told you, that comes under this bilateral agreement. Open sky policies as a part of freedom policies, which I already told you. This has all been explained to you in the last class, so I don't want to repeat it again. So the same slide has been implemented. Now, later on, IATA came up. Once ICAO bought open skies and freedom and freedom of air policies, that is your bilateral agreement, IATA came up. Okay, this was the evolution of IATA, and IATA also bought up certain kind of benefits. See, functions and duties. So it's everything is included. Even if you want to know in particular about the IATA, if not the last slide, visit to this slide. You can see what and all is the flight functions which is given by IATA. Okay, DGCA. So why I have taken all these things is that since your tourism or since your what to say, your aviation is interrelated. Okay? It is interrelated. All these kinds of what you say authorities, be it ICAO, be it IATA, or be it DGCA, be it BCAS, be it MOCA, be it AAI, everything is interconnected with the airline. Why airline came into existence? So the underlined part is word is tourism, because of the tourism only they came. Now if you say a person is traveling for a business, that is also a tourism, right? He's traveling for business tourism. Now if you say a person is traveling for an education purpose, yes, that is also a business tourism, because he's traveling for an education tourism. Now if he is coming to visit just for a pleasure, yes, it is a tourism. He's traveling for a leisure tourism. So there are kind of tourisms. Only because of tourism, these air transportation was developed only to make up with the less timing. Okay, so people now, if you see, more number of people are traveling via aircrafts. It's only to reduce the timing. It is only to save the timing, because as and when they take a ship from one place to another, it will take days and months for them to reach a particular destination. And if you come via road, not at all possible. If at all it's an international country, you need to travel from an international country to an international country. Horrible, you don't know, years might pass if you take up a road. And it is not that easy that you take up a road, because you have a set of immigrations to be followed, right? Set of documentations, and every day you need to be carrying with the suitcases with you because of the documentation. So this is where the airline came into action. Okay, they got a need that one of the transportation should be always there for an international country to travel to an international country. So they bought up this airline. Okay, so this is to reduce your time travel. Okay, to save your timing. Okay, so that within a day you could reach your destination. Now, is that clear? Is that clear? I know everything is
Yes, ma'am.
going
Yes, yes, ma'am.
and I understand everything is going over it, but you have no option. I'm really sorry for that.
Ma'am, thank God it's online, ma'am. If it will be offline, then it will be like very hectic and
No, I would also be tired, trust me. At least if it's online, see, I just want to take a sip of coffee, I can do that. But offline, I can't do that. It doesn't meet the framework of a course. Okay, quickly moving on. Can you tell me what is the types of tourism? There is a slide for that, but I don't want to take that, because once you start reading it, you will understand. This is simple. This is simple. Tell me quickly, what is the type of tourisms?
ma'am, like
Sorry, type of
adventurous and spiritual like that.
transportation. Types of transportation.
Types of transportation, ma'am. Then like trains, planes.
What way you use for your transportations? Yeah, I mean, sorry, for your tourism, yeah.
Oh,
Road transport, rail transport, air.
Exactly. It is the same. Road transport, sea transport, air transport. Okay, I'll just show a slide. I opened it and where is it gone? So just a minute, I'm trying to share the slide. Okay, but yeah, visible, visible on your screen.
Yes, ma'am, now.
Okay, this is the types of transport, okay? The economic and tourist transport. If you could see, the major purpose of this transportation was just to develop the economic development of a country. Correct? Okay. Rather than that, they don't create this transportation. They don't care wherever you travel. So in this case, the normal governmental travel things was actually created for the economic development, right? So you have transport economics and tourist economics. So this is a distance research. Okay, if you go deeply into that, it comes for a research. Okay, for your thesis. So it is not for you, it's for PG people. So don't quickly break up your head in this. So we only need to focus from slide number 13. Okay, the rest of the slides I have not deleted it because it's a nice PPT. If you read that, you get to gain more of knowledge, but now you don't focus on that. So just make a note of mode of transport. What and all are the mode of transport? As I said, first is railway, second is water transport, third is road transport, fifth is air transport. So these are the types of transportations. So if you could see, this is actually done, this is actually a research. This is a research PPT. So that is the reason they have taken up for another country's research. So if you see, if in our Indian field, popularized railways, we have approximately, now current development has come up with the metro rails also, right? So even metro rails, if you see, it is traveling inside, the regionally traveling, okay, domestically traveling, and we have our Indian railways, which is taking you from one place to another place, that is from one state to another state too, right? So this is in a way reducing your time, but not compared to the airline, okay, not compared to the aviation, because even the travel distance from, let's keep it as on railway, okay, from Bangalore to Cochin, okay, example, Bangalore to Cochin, or let's keep as Bangalore to Trivandrum, okay. Let's take it as Kerala itself. Okay, from Bangalore to Trivandrum, it could be in your Indian Railways. It could be approximately one night journey. That is, if at all you're starting today night, okay, and you will be reaching your destination the next day evening. Okay. So if you compare to the waterways, if you compare to the, it is quite quick. I don't say quicker, it is quick. But if you compare to the aviation or if you compare to the airline, it is very slow, because in aviation, you will reach the destination called Trivandrum in just 1 hour. Okay, because it's quick. It's quicker. In that case, waterways not at all possible, because there is no waterways connected to that, and if at all, if you want to take a road ride, still it approximately takes you around 10 to 12 hours of driving. So it is not easy. So airline is a little quicker. So I always tend to say that if you compare to the other things, certain mode of transportations are good. Okay, if you think that I always prefer railway, because it is you will be able to take rest, right? You are not tense, but people have their own likes. Like if I'm taking it in my private vehicle, of course I can stop anywhere I want. I can have a cup of coffee. I can lie down for some time. So all this is there. If you take an airline, you will reach in 1 hour. So it is even more good compared to the other thing. So this is what comes into your Right. Now, water transport, we always have cruising and ferrying. Okay, if you'll have to travel from here to Lakshadweep, let's say, you always need to take a cruising because no airline or no train would be going there. Okay, so Port Blair, you need to be taking only the airline. Okay, you have no other option. So all these kinds, more number of waterways is available in those kind of areas like your islands. Okay, so water transport is the one. Then road transport, I already told you, you will have to be taking up your private cars, or you will have to be taking up your any such kind of hired cars like your Zoom car or things like that. Okay, so air transport, this is one of the fastest way of traveling. Okay, so tourism, underline it, because tourism is developing, it's only because of the air transport. If air transport is developing, it is because of the tourism. So if I say it is interrelated, it is not dependent. I don't say it is dependent, because even tourism has been stopped. People would be traveling for business purposes, for medical purposes. So I don't say it is dependent. I only say it is interdependent, because of tourism, airline is also surviving. Because of airline, tourism is also surviving. So it's an interdependent. So any one of it goes also, there is no problem, because there are people who are traveling with other ways of transport, right? So there are people who are traveling for other needs also. So it is not dependent, it is interdependent. Okay. So this is airfare. You need to be only focusing on that particular point. Okay. So only 4 slides, please take note of that. Don't go deeply into this. If you want to read the PPT, it is far good, because there is nothing wrong in it. To gain extra knowledge, it is good that you learn it. Okay, just a minute. So now let's see what else I have prepared for you. I will show you that also, and we'll wind up, because okay, then we have another video for transportation. I will show you that also, and we will wind up for today. Okay, no more eating your heads. And I'm horribly tired. And
think back.
okay, then I believe I told you the impact of tourism, right? Did I show you the impact of tourism?
Video, ma'am?
No. The explanation, I believe I have told you, right? Impact of tourism, negative and positive points. Yeah, I have told you that. Now, I have one more PPT. I forgot to show you that. Then I will show you the video, and then we'll quickly move on to the. By then, it would be 2 hours class. Okay. This is something where your advantages, that is the impact of tourism. I told you about tourism, I told you about the negativity of tourism and positivity of tourism, right? In the last slide, tourism in India, I had told you in that. Now I will show you what is the impact of let's say transport on tourism. The negative and positive points of transportation. Okay, various transportation. If you could see here, the slide is visible. Is it visible? Slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We will start from 4, because the first, second, and third is all explanation about whatever I told you about transportation. Okay. Now, advantages of air travel. Okay, first and foremost, this I have already told you in the last slide. Okay, but I'm still telling you the major points which you need to be remembering. So it have high speed. First and foremost, high speed of traveling, that is your time saving. It is comfortable and quick services. Okay, we have a relaxed services because you are not flying the aircraft, so you will be, for that 1 hour you will be nicely listening to your music or reading your book. So it is there. And it has a very quick services, like you'll be served your food and things like that by another person. You just need to eat it. So that's the only thing. It's easy for access. So any such kind of things, it's very easy. If you go on online, you book a ticket and just go check in your baggage and move, sit in the aircraft nicely for an hour and then get on from your aircraft. So it's an easy access. Okay. Now, what is the disadvantage is that it is very costly, right? Because none of the work is done by you, so they need to be get paid for something, of course. So it is very costly. It is uncertain and unreliable, so you never know. You are not controlling it, right? Now, let's say due to weather there might be a delay. Due to weather there might be a stoppage. So you don't know what might happen when. Small carrying capacity, so you can't carry 5 to 6 number of bags, not possible until and unless 2-3 people are traveling or a group people is traveling. So only you have a limit of weight to be carried with you. Okay. Now, what is the advantages of road transport? It is cost effective, fast delivery, easy to communicate with driver. Now, if at all you are taking up your private vehicle, of course, yes, you don't need to give any money for the driver also, because you yourself are driving it. So it's cost effective and it's a fast delivery, but not as compared to the air transport. What is the disadvantage is that it is a focused traffic delays, right? You can't just be moving, as you're moving the aircraft. No, you need to be checking on the traffic conditions also. There might be a subject to breakdown. Your vehicle might have some problem. Okay, on the way it has got punctured, on the way the petrol got over. So all these kinds of things, breakdown is happening. So goods susceptible to damage because of careless driving. Okay, your goods will get damaged. Okay, your luggage would get damaged. Bad weather, of course, there is a heavy rain. You can't see the front glass, okay, of the car. So at that situation you need to stop your car, which will again delay your journey. Okay, so driving regulations. Okay, in certain NH roads, you have only speed limits, like let's say 80 kilometers per hour is only allowed. So in that case, that also reduces your journey. Now, moving ahead, advantages of water transport is that it is quite cheap, and if it is compared with rail and road transport, this is quite cheap. Okay. Then this is one of the major thing. Okay, most of your foreign exchanges, like your foreign trade, will happen via water transport itself. If you see all your cargoes and all those things, okay, so that would majorly happen via water transport, because it is very cheaper compared to the air transport. Now, if you see the water transport, the disadvantage is it is very slow. I already told you it takes months and years to reach you. So it is a very slow. And if you say if it is a rainy season also, it would be even very slow, because you need to be checking on the seas, how when there a wave rising up. So all this it's a very risky kind of thing. Okay, more risky type of transport. Okay, you never know what will happen, and you don't have a place to escape also. The only place to escape is the sea. So you need to be diving into that, and you never know you will survive or not. So it is a very risky kind of transportation. And disadvantages I told you. Okay, that's it. Now So that is the impact of tourism or impact of transportation on tourism. Okay. Impact of tourism, I already told you negative impacts. Okay. Positive impacts, I told you there is an employment conditions happening. Okay. More number of infrastructure rising, I already told you. So now we will see up a video and wind up. Okay. Visible on your screen? Is it
Yes,
visible?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is transportation's impact on tourism. Okay, so whatever I've explained you, it is there in this video.
Back to the last vacation you took. How did you get there? Think back to the last vacation you took. How did you get there? Did you drive a car? Fly on a plane? Maybe you took a ride on a train. Regardless, you got there through some kind of transportation. Transportation is critical for the tourism industry. If there isn't a way to get to the destination, people are simply not going to walk or swim there. And there's more to it than that. Even if there is a way to get there, that doesn't mean people will come. You'll find out why on this lesson on transportation's impact on tourism. The entire tourism industry is dependent on transportation. A hotel in Paris, France, catering to tourists cannot survive if there is no way for the tourists to get there. The same goes for a nature reserve in Thailand, a snorkeling company near the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, or a meditation retreat in India. The tourists get there through various modes of transportation, such as automobiles, airplanes, ships, trains, or in many cases, a combination thereof. Only when the tourists get to their destinations can they spend money and prop up the local tourism industry, which includes companies that provide accommodations, food and drink, and entertainment of all sorts. Once the customer reaches their preferred destination, the transportation doesn't stop. For instance, if you could get a direct flight to a very remote city in a developing nation, you might still avoid going there. There could be many reasons why, but poor transportation within the destination is one of them. Why bother going to a place if you cannot get around easily enough due to a lack of transportation in a location? Booming tourist centers around the world try to ensure that tourists have a very easy time getting around via numerous methods, such as bus, taxi, train, and rental vehicles. In addition to the obvious ways that transportation and tourism are linked, there are also more subtle connections to consider. For instance, the modes of transportation must accommodate the ebb and flow of tourists with the seasons. More people may want to reach a particular destination during the summer, and thus the transportation company